back in my office. Sorry I can't stream from my computer because I am rendering something and it's taking all my computer's ability to do anything. So I can't stream at the same time. But big update today. Kid Cudi is in the stands for the Diddy case. Mr. Solo Dolo himself, Scott the Scotty. And I had a feeling that they were going to call up Kid Cudi a while ago, near the beginning actually, because of what Diddy's being charged with and what we've heard about, what went on with Kid Cudi. So I had a big feeling that prosecutors at some point had to call up Kid Cudi, Mr. Solo Dolo himself, uh, because this is where we're gonna start getting into the meat of what they're charging him with. You know, all that stuff with Cassie, and that was fun. The baby oil is fun, but that had nothing to do with what they're charging him with. Kid Cudi, if you guys don't know the backstory, uh, dated Cassie for a little bit, and did he blew up his car? Allegedly, I say all the words. Allegedly, supposedly, he claims uh, Diddy blew up his car, and so I'm saying where this is where we're gonna start getting to the real meat of what they're charging comes with. So let's. And I'm playing catch up because I was busy. So let's get to the point where they call Kid Cudi up. It's raining over there. And I have to say, I'm sorry I can't share the screen, but I have to say, Kid Cudi looks cool as hell. Going into the corridor, he's got a cig, he's got a leather jacket. He looks way too cool. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Kid Cudi gets called to the stand. He walks down the center aisle. See, Diddy Combs was facing forward. The two did not make eye contact. Dun dun dun. Let's see, Kid Cudi says he knew Ventura and Combs had some problems when he first started dating her. Let's see, Kid Cudi, who described himself as an actor, musician. You know, I love Kid Cudi's music. His first three albums, fantastic. But I think he ran into the problem where he had. I mean, he's mentioned this a few times before, where he said that he is continuously trying to reinvent the sound that he has, and I feel like his sound changed too much. I don't know what you guys think. Do you guys listen to Kid Cudi's music? I'm a big fan. I One of my favorite songs that he has is I think it's Heart of a Lion. I think that's what it's called. Where basically he said that his idea was to remake Eye of the Tiger, but for a newer generation. Heart of the Lion, great song. Let's see. I'm trying to see what is relevant here. They started dating. Okay, Kid Cudi distressed. Okay. Okay, Ventura called Kid Cudi distressed after Combs discovered the relationship. Okay, rapper Kid Cudi says in December of 2011, he received a phone call from Cassie around 6 a.m. Ooh, good memory. Kid Cudi says that he was confused when she said that he didn't think she was still dating Combs. Okay, like I said before, I would be confused too if I was Kid Cudi. Like, he starts up a relationship with Cassie, right? And he said earlier, he said he knew that Combs and her had some problems, and now she's seeing him. So she calls him a little bit later, saying that Combs had discovered their relationship, and his reaction was like, "What? You're still seeing that guy?" Um, just hearing this bit of it makes me feel really bad about for Kid Cudi because it seems like he didn't know anything about Cassie and Combs still being together, and now he feels like he's like a homewrecker, right? Let's see. She asked me to pick her up. Kid Cudi says she sounded really stressed on the phone, nervous, scared, so I went to go pick her up. Oh, what a nice guy. Okay, Kid Cudi describes how Combs' employee was on the verge of tears as she told him Combs was at his house. Okay, Kid Cudi testified that after he picked up Cassie in December of 2011, they went to a nearby hotel, spoke on the phone with Capricorn Clark, one of Diddy Combs' employees. What a name, Capricorn Clark. Clark was very scared, sounded like she. Oh, it's a girl. Sounded like she was on the verge of tears, Kid Cudi says. Clark told the two that Combs and an associate were inside Kid Cudi's house and she was in a car outside waiting for them. Kid Cudi testified that she was forced to go along with them over there, he added. Okay, on the way back to his house from the hotel, Kid Cudi called Combs. When Kid Cudi asked Combs if he was in his house, Combs said, I just want to talk to you. I'm on my way. I'll be right down, Kid Cudi says. I'll be over there. I'll be over here waiting for you, Combs replied, according to Kid Cudi. Interesting. I'm trying to feel like, think about when you get to Combs's status where you feel like you're untouchable and you watch a lot of like, I know, I mean, this is the part where I guess I'm not informed enough to know, did Puffy actually live the gangster life, or did he kind of just mold his persona around that? Kind of like the idea of like they say Biggie is like that, right? Where he grew up in a okay like environment, but he kind of just molded himself into the gangster lifestyle, while some other like artists actually lived that lifestyle. So I wonder, like, as the years went on and Puffy got more and more power, influence, he just molded himself more into that mafioso lifestyle. Because that is such a, like, I'm just trying to imagine like that scene where you're like, I'm just gonna, like when you watch mobster movies or whatever, where the guy just magically appears inside your house, like you're walking into the house and then you turn on the light and they're just sitting in the dark in the corner, like, I've been waiting for you, Kid Cudi. So that, I think that's pretty interesting. That supposedly, allegedly, you gotta use all the words, okay? Supposedly, allegedly, he claims that Puffy was broke into his house and was waiting for him in his house. Okay, see, items at Kid Cudi's home had been moved. He testified. Okay, Kid Cudi continued to describe his return to his home in December of 2011 after meeting Cassie at a hotel. After Cassie told him that Diddy Combs found out about Kid Cudi and Ventura had been dating. Kid Cudi testified that Combs' employee told him by phone that Combs and an associate were inside Kid Cudi's house. Very interesting. Outside his house seemed pretty normal upon his return, but he later realized that his security cameras had been moved. Kid Cudi testified that he did not move them. He said, let's see, inside the house, some gifts he had bought for his family were opened, and on his kitchen counter, he said, his dog was locked in the bathroom, but he did not shut the dog in there before he left. Okay, interesting. That's a bit of a more funny move by Diddy, if he just like broke into his house, um, moved a few things around, and like left a single bottle of baby oil inside Kid Cudi's bathroom. I think that would have been. I'm trying to think what would have been the most gangster at the same time scariest move that Diddy could have done at that moment. Because that's going, they're trying to establish the getting into the intimidation and like racketeering stuff now, right? Because they're showing like they're trying to make Diddy like a criminal mafioso mastermind. But I think would have been hilarious is if Diddy broke into his house, Kid Cudi's house, and just did everything else that he did, but don't call him. Don't call uh, Kid Cudi and let him know that he was in his house. Right? Because they spoke on the phone earlier, but and Diddy didn't admit to it. But I just wished. I think this will make the story like 10 times more interesting if he just left a single bottle of baby oil. Like kind of that's the message you want to send, just one bottle. Because the I was talking to my friend yesterday about this. Diddy and the baby oil thing, for at least from what we've heard so far from the testimonies, is getting out of control. Like I think the amount of baby oil that we've heard in this case so far, that's okay. That's one thing I want to look up right now. Okay, if you guys are still here with me, I want to see if I can find later the stock price of Johnson and Johnson. Are they owned by Procter and Gamble? I don't know. Maybe I'm pretty sure. Yes, I'm pretty sure. I remember hearing that they're owned by Procter and Gamble. Okay, I want to see Procter and Gamble stock before Diddy and after Diddy. Did it go down because they aren't selling thousands of bottles of baby oil anymore, or did it go up because people are now going to look into baby oil activities? Because like I saw that on some sites they have a whole category now on Didiness, and that's what they use on there, the baby oil. So very interesting. Okay, I I would have to say Procter and Gamble's sales of Johnson and Johnson baby oil must have skyrocketed. How funny would it be if this was actually big baby oil big baby oil uh, marketing scheme. Like this is a high level marketing scheme for them to sell more Johnson and Johnson baby oil, because I have never thought of baby oil as much as we've seen since the Diddy case. And my friend was making this other point, which was I thought was hilarious. He was saying, all these workers come over and they have baby oil all over them. Some of them, he said, should thank Diddy because after they leave, their skin must be super soft and smooth, and they would never, ever be applying that much baby oil if it wasn't for Diddy. So just send him a thank you letter. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Kid Cudi says he called the police after a apparent break-in. Okay, so after he returned home, he called Sean Diddy again, asking where he was at. Combs said he was on his way, Kid Cudi testified. I wanted to confront him. I wanted to fight him, Kid Cudi said. Kid Cudi said he didn't decide to call the police. He recalled thinking at the time, I don't know who he has with him, and I don't know what his intentions are. Okay, Kid Cudi said he filed a police report that day about their apparent break-in. Okay. Kid Cudi says he ignored Combs' text after the alleged break-in. Okay, very interesting. Okay, Kid Cudi testified he spent the holidays with Cassie at her family's home in Connecticut. Sean Combs texted him a couple times while he was there. Kid Cudi said, I guess he was in the dark about things and wanted to talk. But at that point, post break-in, I didn't want to talk, Kid Cudi testified. You broke into my house, you messed with my dog. I don't want to talk to you, he said. Okay, jury sees photos of Kid Cudi's car after it was damaged in the 2012 fire. Ooh, that's interesting though. I wonder if Kid Cudi answered Puffy's text after after the incident, maybe they could have avoided the fire. But again, allegedly, Puffy's involved. A fire. You gotta keep on saying the allegedly, supposedly, because we don't know. We're not there. Allegedly, supposedly. But it's always fun to theorize. Because I'm trying to put myself into Diddy's shoes here, and he's texting Kid Cudi like, "Yo," and I'm pretty sure he knows he's with Cassie at her house, and he's like, "Hey, talk to me," and he's probably going more and more and spiraling down, and he's like, "You know what? Forget this guy," and he orders a firebomb, supposedly, allegedly. Remember, you gotta keep saying the supposedly, allegedly. Let's see. Where are we at? All right, they're showing pictures of Kid Cudi's car after it got on fire. That's where we are. Okay, January 2012. So the break-in happened in December, so this is like a month or so later. Okay, Kid Cudi said his dog watcher called him. Dog watcher, interesting. Called him from his home to tell him that his car was on fire. He said that he was at his ex-girlfriend's sister's house at the time, about 45 minutes away. Ex-girlfriend's sister's house. Kid Cudi? Mr. Solo Dolo? What are you doing at your ex-girlfriend's sister's house? That's interesting. Okay. His friend sent him photos of his damaged car in his driveway. Before he got there, he said the jury is now reviewing the photos. Okay, on the witness stand, Kid Cudi described the photos as the damage of a Molotov cocktail in my Porsche. Let's see, it looks like the top of my Porsche was cut open, and that's where the Molotov cocktail was put in. Okay. This is why you get a hard top. I know it's a little bit more. Kid Cudi, Mr. Solo Dolo, I think you have the money to get a hard top. I don't know. I'm just making little comments here and there. Okay, because if you had the hard top, they wouldn't be able to cut it. They wouldn't be able to cut it open. Okay, remember, we go through this to learn. To learn from the mistakes of others, and so we don't repeat them. So in the future, if you're ever in the position to get a convertible Porsche or any convertible car, a matter of fact, spend the extra little bit to get the hardtop so people don't firebomb your car. I guess that brings me to the other thing I always think about sometimes. I see people driving around with the Jeeps, and the Jeeps don't have a roof or anything on them, and I always wonder, like, because I've never had a car like that, I wonder, are people afraid of people just hopping in and just messing around in your car? I don't know. Someone out there ever had a Jeep that doesn't have a top on it? What is your experience in people jumping into your car? I always wonder about that. I don't know, because I like the Jeeps. I've seen Jeeps that have like the plastic. They don't even have doors. You could just go in there. I don't know. All right, back to Mr. Solo Dolo. Okay. Well, yeah, he says that the Porsche was damaged by the Molotov cocktail and couldn't be salvaged. I would expect so. It's on fire. Okay, the jury's on break. Oh, now we're really catching up then. All right. Prosecutors' team was on track to call on all the witnesses they planned for today. Ooh, they have more other than Kid Cudi. Interesting. Okay. They're back from break. Okay, Kid Cudi asked for a meeting with Combs after the firebomb, he testified. The last time Kid Cudi saw Cassie was at a private club in Los Angeles a few days after his car was damaged in 2012, he testified. He reached out to Diddy after the car fire and finally told him, "We need to meet up and talk." Kid Cudi testified. He had been wanting to talk to me, so after the fire, I was like, "This is getting out of hand. I need to talk to him," Kid Cudi said. Okay, very interesting. Well, in a way, the firebomb worked because it got his attention and they got to talk. So that's what I was saying earlier. If Kid Cudi didn't ignore Diddy's text messages, this couldn't, like, Diddy's coming off like a crazy jealous girlfriend. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. And we're gonna throw out some more allegedly, supposedly, because so far, like I've been saying, we don't know if you know what's been really crazy. Okay, because we keep saying that there's not enough evidence right now to link Diddy to the firebomb. Imagine you're Kid Cudi and you're thinking that it's Diddy, and you actually have a whole other enemy out there that's like, "I'm gonna firebomb you." How crazy would that be? From because from what I've seen from Kid Cudi, he seems like a very nice and likable person. Someone could correct me if you've seen otherwise, but he seems like a very nice person. And the thought that I'm having right now that he could possibly have a whole other arch enemy out there. Did he? Because we know we have to keep saying that allegedly, supposedly, did he firebomb the car, or is involved? But I'm just thinking how crazy it would be that he has a whole other arch enemy out there that is riding on this and saying like, "You think it was Diddy? It was me." Okay, Kid Cudi describes meeting with Combs. Okay, he's now testifying about the meeting he set up with Sean Diddy Combs after his car was damaged. He said when he first walked into the meeting, he was alone with Combs. Sean Combs was standing there staring out a window with his hands behind his back. like a like a Marvel supervillain, Kid Cudi said. Like literally, that's what I was gonna say when I'm hearing Kid Cudi describe the scene. Like he's just staring out the window. Like, what are you staring at? Nothing, nothing. I'm staring at nothing. Soon you will be nothing. Sean Diddy Combs was standing there staring out the window with his hands behind his back like a Marvel supervillain. Very interesting. Dang, I literally when I first saw the first two sentences of that, I was thinking like, oh, like a Marvel supervillain. Oh, Kid Cudi. Yeah, I say. He said he went to discuss Kid Cudi's relationship with Cassie Ventura. We discussed pretty much the whole story about how me and Cassie, it's Cassie and I, just throwing a little grammar out there. First started to date, and what, oh yeah, first started to date to what it was, how it ended. He testified. Kid Cudi said he told Combs that he had taken Ventura's word when she told him that she and Combs were over. You see, this is what I said earlier. Okay? Kid Cudi is the innocent bystander in this whirlwind that is the Cassie Combs Diddy relationship. Because just think about it, okay? You're Kid Cudi. Just imagine, you're Kid Cudi, Mr. Solo Dolo, Scott Miscati. Okay? You have big hit records in in the bank right now. And Hottie Body Cassie Ventura comes to you and be like, "Hey, you want to hang out?" And you hang out with Cassie. And you're like, "Oh, I thought you were with Diddy." And she was like, "Oh, we don't talk about him." And like she kind of does that vague thing where like you kind of just, like you just mentioned, like, oh, I thought you were with the blah blah blah, and she gives you a vague answer like, oh, uh, he's doing his thing. Like it's not an explicit we're together or we're not together. Like, oh, he's doing his thing, or oh, we don't want. I don't want to talk about him right now. There's stuff like that where you're kind of like, oh, I guess it's over, and he just like uh hooks up with her, and then he finds out abruptly. He finds out that she's still with Diddy, and he's the side thing, and and then now next thing you know, his car's getting firebombed, supposedly, allegedly. Very. So in a way, I feel really bad for Kid Cudi. I mean, just having to drag himself into this whole court case, several gajillion years after your relationship. It looks like a very short relationship with Cassie. Seems insane. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Kid Cudi describes Sean Diddy Combs' calm demeanor during the meeting as off-putting. Okay. He said, "I was upset to find that she had kind of went back to him." Okay, so that's what Kid Cudi said. Because, Cassie was a hottie body back then, and I'm pretty sure Kid Cudi was like, that could have been mine. When Cassie Ventura arrived at the meeting, she explained, "We fell in love and things just happened," he said. When Kid Cudi asked Combs about his car, he responded, "I don't know what you're talking about." Kid Cudi pulled his hand out to shake Combs' hand and asked him, "What was wrong?" He said, "Wait, I thought we were cool." Wait, I'm trying to think. Oh, wait, what? Kid Cudi pulled out his hand, pulled his hand out of his handshake. Oh, they were handshaking. Pulled his hand out of a handshake, and Combe asked what was wrong. He said, "Wait, I thought we were cool." Kid Cudi recalled. He confirmed that Combs he confirmed with Combs that his word that he didn't know anything about the damage to Kid Cudi's Porsche. Okay, very interesting. Kid Cudi and Combs ran into each other again at a Soho house in 2015. Okay, this is like 3 or 4 years later. Combs, who was with his daughter, pulled Kid Cudi aside and apologized. "Man, I just want to apologize for everything. That was all some bull," you know. Kid Cudi recalled Combs saying. Kid Cudi testified he found peace with the situation with Combs after that, and that was the last time he was expecting to get. That was the last thing I was expecting to get from him. You see. Okay, so they're buddy buddy again. Okay, but then this goes back to what I was saying earlier, where just imagine, um, like I said, it seems like Kid Cudi is a very nice and uh, likable person, just from what I've seen of his interviews. We don't know him, but just imagine you just doing your thing, Mr. Solo Dolo, and you meet Cassie, and then you guys get together, and you think, and you know that she was with Diddy. I think everyone knows that she was with Diddy, at least if you're in that world. And you're thinking, oh, maybe they're not together anymore. She didn't really like say they're not together, right? She's just like, hey, I'm with you now. And then your car blows up, supposedly, allegedly. And you're like, well, this has to be connected to Diddy. But just imagine if he has another arch enemy out there. There was a time when Kid Cudi was beefing with our other buddy, Kanye. When was this beef with Kanye? Is this around the same time? Imagine Okay, supposedly, allegedly, just saying. Imagine. Because I remember Kid Cudi and Kanye getting into some beef. Like, Kid Cudi was like, "You don't call me anymore," and all that jazz. So I'm just kind of curious. When was this? When was their beef? Oh, but this is way too. This is way too late. They're saying they're past. Is 2022? No, 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 no. I remember this happened way earlier. Okay, 2013. Kid Cudi left Good Music. Ah, that's the way. But maybe it was brewing. Maybe it was brewing before. We'll just throw that out there. Allegedly, supposedly. Okay, I think it's time for the defense to come up. Okay, defense says taken from Kid Cudi's damaged car, DNA taken from Kid Cudi's damaged car belonged to a woman. Okay, on cross-examination, Kid Cudi confirmed that DNA was collected from his vehicle after it was damaged in 2012. Defense attorney Brian Steele, great name, asked Kid Cudi if he was aware that the DNA results that came back were a woman. Kid Cudi said he didn't hear any follow-ups from the authorities about the results. Okay, that doesn't prove anything because we all know that based on what Diddy is being charged with, he doesn't have to he's not the one physically throwing in the Molotov cocktail. They're saying that he's got a criminal enterprise. He can hire people. But it would be kind of odd if you were to hire a firebomber that it would be a woman. Uh, that is kind of odd. Unless his organization is doing some high level distraction, like espionage type stuff where you're like, you would least expect a woman to firebomb your car. Or would you more expect a woman to firebomb your car? I don't know. We'll throw that out there. Let me know if you guys think if a woman is more likely to firebomb your car or a guy. I'm just throwing it out there. Wait. Okay. Earlier, Kid Cudi said that before the firebomb, I don't want to go back. Someone can go back. Okay. I believe he said before the firebomb, he said he was at his ex-girlfriend's sister's house. Dun dun dun. You're at your ex, because when I saw that sentence, I thought it was strange. Ex-girlfriend's sister's house. The day that your car got firebombed? I'm just saying that's very suspicious. Ex-girlfriend's sister's house. Your car gets firebombed. The defense is saying that the DNA that came from the Porsche, but where are they getting this DNA? The car was firebombed. I'm trying to think because go on the journey with me, okay? You're sneaking up on the car, right? It's a Porsche. Apparently with a soft top because they said that the top was cut open. Okay, so you're sneaking up. Okay, and then in the movies they use the Zippo lighter. Right? You're not wearing gloves? I figure you would wear gloves. And then you throw the firebomb into the car. Where is this Where is this DNA? And then you run off, right? just put yourself, because the defense is saying that they got DNA from the car and it belongs to a woman, and just from the picture that we're getting painted of how this went down, supposedly allegedly, throw that out there again. They're saying it's a woman that did it, right? Okay, because that they're saying that's from the DNA, but they're also saying that it was cut open, right? Porsche soft top. You would use a knife, no, or box cutter. Okay. Molotov cocktail, lighter, you know, and it lights up, and then you throw it in there, and then you run away because fire is coming out. Um, where just walk through where in that scenario that we're putting out again, allegedly, supposedly, we're not there. Okay, maybe they like had a barbecue and decided to like eat in front of the car. Maybe sometimes, like when you have an open fire, you kind of like want to make use of it and roast like some marshmallows or hot dogs. Maybe they ate some food there, and we're like, oh, just throw in the sticks because it's gonna burn up anyways. I don't know. I just find that's kind of convenient, odd, that they found DNA. I'm just where how I don't know. Again, allegedly, supposedly, we're not there. Okay, Kid Cudi just stopped talking with Ventura after the relationship just ended. Okay, on cross examination, Kid Cudi testified that when his relationship with Cassie Ventura ended, they just stopped talking after being in contact for almost every day for about a year. Okay, she played you, right? Oh, defense attorney Brian Steele asked. Yes, Kid Cudi responded. Very interesting. Very interesting question. She played you, right? Yes. And again, I was saying before, I feel for Kid Cudi in this situation because he just meets a hottie body and as dates her for about a year, and all this happens. That's crazy. Let's see. What's this? Kid Cudi says Ventura first spoke to him about relationship with Combs in 2010. Okay, during cross examination, Kid Cudi said, "We wanted to clarify that he believes Sean Diddy Combs asked him to do a song with Cassie in 2010 rather than 2011." Okay, the first time Ventura spoke to him about her relationship with Combs was about Thanksgiving in 2010. Kid Cudi testified. Okay, that's when she was telling me she was having problems. He said. Defense attorney Brian Steele pointed to a meeting Kid Cudi had with the government in which Kid Cudi said Ventura had told him that her relationship with Combs was on and off. Okay, so this is a little side note right here. Kid Cudi testified earlier today that he met Ventura around 2008 and dated her around 2011. He also testified that he and Ventura first started dating. Testified that's when he and Ventura first started dating. He said he understood that she and Combs were having problems and they weren't dating anymore. Okay, like I said, he's complete innocent bystander in this thing. Okay, Kid Cudi confirms that there was no damage to his home after an apparent break-in. Okay, no damage. They just moved stuff around. Kid Cudi testified Ventura confided in him about the physical abuse by Combs. Okay, Kid Cudi confirmed that Cassie told him that there was physical abuse in her relationship with Sean Diddy Combs, but she hadn't told him about any other kind of abuse. He said that Combs never interrupted the time that he'd spent with her. Okay, very interesting. Kid Cudi testified he was bothered by how Combs treated Ventura. Okay, they were done with the cross. I think we're getting into the redirect. Okay, Ventura said Combs hit and kicked her. Kid Cudi testified. Prosecutor Emily is back up for redirect. Let's see what happens here. Johnson asks Cassie Ventura had Kid Cudi, or had Cassie Ventura told Kid Cudi about the physical abuse from Sean Diddy Combs, that he would hit her and sometimes kick her. He said, Kid Cudi says. Okay, Kid Cudi testified Ventura was really shook after Combs discovered their relationship. Yeah, you would think so. Okay, you would think so, because here's the thing about this. Because Kid Cudi, I feel like, would not have entered a relationship with Cassie if he had known that she was still with Sean Diddy Combs, right? He would it just doesn't seem that way. He seems like he would not have done that because he was shocked to hear that they were still together, and because of how shocked he was, I'm pretty sure Diddy was shocked to see that she was with Kid Cudi as well. So I don't know. Yeah, I can totally see that she was scared after Diddy found out, because it's kind of like, what are you doing? Okay, let's see. On redirect examination, prosecutor Emily Johnson pressed Kid Cudi about his meeting with Sean Diddy Combs after Kid Cudi's car was damaged in the 2012 fire. At that meeting, when Kid Cudi asked about the car, Combs responded he didn't know what he was talking about. Kid Cudi had testified. Johnson asked what Kid Cudi thought about Combs' response. Okay, and Kid Cudi says that he was lying. Possibility. Okay. Kid Cudi is off the stand, and the court is taking a break. So that's it for Mr. Solo Dolo Kid Cudi. Up next is Mariah Morris, a former makeup artist for Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura. Okay. Very interesting. Okay, I think I'm gonna skip the makeup artist's testimony for now. I'll go back and read and see if there's anything interesting that happened. But in a way, like I said, I feel bad for Kid Cudi because he seems like a very innocent bystander in what's going on, and we'll see. We'll see if they can tie in more into the firebomb, because I think the firebombing is a very big part of the case. It will be great. I mean, again, the prosecutors can't get everything, but I think they need to see somebody actually firebomb the car. They're saying the car was in his driveway. I assume he testified earlier that he had cameras, because he said that they were moved when the time that allegedly Diddy broke into his house. Or maybe they knew where all the cameras were already, and then so they did it in a way that the cameras didn't get them. But I feel like what we need, supposedly, allegedly, but always throw that out there, is somebody seeing the actual firebomb. I think that would help the case a lot, because at this point it's still a he she said. They can't prove that Diddy had anything to do with the firebomb so far. And that is it for now. I'm gonna go take a break, and hopefully my computer decides to work on me. Other than that, I'll take a break. See you guys later.